Money doesn't exist anymore. At least, not in the way normal people imagine it. There are no paper bills, no sweaty stockbrokers shouting across the floor of Wall Street. Today, the global economy is an invisible, silent war fought in the freezing darkness of data centers, moving at the absolute speed of light. Welcome to the ruthless world of high-frequency trading. I was the lead algorithmic architect at a massive hedge fund in the heart of the financial district. My job was to write digital predators, highly advanced computer programs designed to buy and sell millions of shares in fractions of a millisecond. To give you a sense of scale, it takes a human being about 300 milliseconds to blink. In that exact same amount of time, my algorithm has already analyzed the entire global market, executed 10,000 high-stake trades, and made $50,000 in pure profit. But when you give a machine the power to spend billions at the speed of light, you have to keep it on a very short titanium leash. That leash is called the kill switch, or the circuit breaker. It is a sacred block of code that constantly monitors the algorithm's behavior. If the program gets confused by a market anomaly and starts losing money, the kill switch severs the connection to the stock exchange in 1,000th of a second, freezing all accounts to prevent total ruin. It is the absolute lifeline of our company. Until Julian arrived. The board of directors brought him in as the new managing partner of investments. Julian was an old-school corporate shark, completely addicted to adrenaline and multi-million-dollar bonuses. To him, caution was just another word for weakness. He only looked at profit margins, and my kill switch seemed like an annoying roadblock holding back his ambition. It was a tense Tuesday morning in November. We knew that at exactly 10 o'clock, the Federal Reserve was going to announce a massive shift in interest rates. The market was going to go completely insane. The volatility would be extreme, which meant there were fortunes to be made, or lost, in a matter of seconds. Julian walked into the isolated server room where I operated. There was no natural light, only the ghostly blue glow of the server racks and the suffocating hum of the industrial cooling systems. He stood right behind my chair, reeking of expensive cologne and sheer impatience. "Architect," he murmured, watching the green and red numbers flashing across my 4 monitors. "I've been analyzing your simulations for the market open. Your damn kill switch is configured to halt the algorithm if volatility exceeds 3%. That is absolutely unacceptable. Today the market is going to fluctuate by at least 5%. If your program shuts down for safety, we will miss the biggest profit window of the decade. I want you to go into the source code right now and disable the kill switch. Let the algorithm hunt freely without any breaks. I want blood in the market." I slowly swiveled my ergonomic chair around to face him. My blood ran cold. "Julian, that is financial suicide," I replied in a low, sharp voice that cut through the hum of the servers. "That algorithm executes 100,000 transactions per second. If there is a data anomaly in the market and the algorithm enters a negative logic loop, I won't be able to hit the cancel button fast enough. At the speed of light, an artificial intelligence can drain the liquid funds of this entire company in less time than it takes you to take a breath. The kill switch is the only thing standing between this hedge fund and absolute bankruptcy." Julian leaned over me, placing his palms flat on my desk, invading my personal space with a predatory, arrogant smile. "You are a brilliant technician, but you don't have the stomach for the major leagues," he whispered with pure disdain. "Risk is exactly what pays your inflated salary. I have run trading desks for 20 years and I know exactly when to bet the house. This is a direct order from the managing partner. Either you delete that safety block and let the machine work at 100% capacity, or I call security, revoke your building access, and bring in a junior programmer who doesn't shake when it's time to make millions." In the financial ecosystem, arrogance always precedes a catastrophic fall. I knew empirically that unleashing a high-frequency algorithm without breaks into a volatile market was like dropping a nuclear bomb with a broken timer. But the threat of imminent termination demanded the most lethal move in an engineer's playbook: cryptographically certified malicious compliance. "I am not going to unshield the financial matrix under my professional license, Julian," I answered without raising my voice, standing up from my chair to give him space. "But since you are the managing partner of this fund, you are going to inject the override key yourself into the master terminal." I pointed to the glowing green phosphor screen. "You will insert your personal SEC security token. You will draft a command permanently overriding the kill switch. You will leave a written record stating that you explicitly reject my technical warning regarding algorithmic feedback loops and the risk of instant bankruptcy. And you will digitally sign that you assume, on a legal, personal, and criminal level, absolute responsibility for any financial loss, with no capital limit." Julian let out a harsh, barking laugh. "Cowardly bureaucracy. I absolutely love it," he declared. He plugged in his encrypted USB key, typed out the order while completely ignoring the flashing red system warnings on the monitor, and hit authorize. "There you go. Take the leash off the dog. We are going to get rich. I sat back down. I compiled the new, defenseless code. I uploaded it to the production server hardwired straight into Wall Street. The digital predator was off its leash. It was 5 minutes to the Federal Reserve announcement. The server room was in sepulchral silence, broken only by the whirring of the cooling fans. Julian stared intensely at the main profit screen, greedily rubbing his hands together. At exactly 10 a.m., the government news hit the global network. The market didn't just fluctuate, it momentarily crashed due to a massive data misinterpretation glitch in the major news agencies. It was an anomalous event, a black swan, that lasted barely a fraction of a human second. But to my algorithm, a fraction of a second is an entire eternity. Detecting the massive drop in prices, the program did exactly what it was designed to do. It began to sell rapidly to stop the losses. It sold 1,000 shares, then 10,000, then 1,000,000. Under normal conditions, my kill switch would have violently severed the connection at millisecond number 10, resulting in a manageable loss of maybe $100,000. But there was no switch. The algorithm kept operating at light speed. The massive instantaneous sell-off tanked the price of our own company's shares, which caused the algorithm to panic further and sell even faster in an infinite, inescapable feedback loop. It was actively devouring itself. On the massive screen in front of us, the red numbers were spinning downwards so fast they became a terrifying, glowing blur. What is happening? Julian stammered, pressing his face close to the monitor. Why is the balance plummeting? Stop it. Stop the machine. I can't, I replied with a funeral calm, completely removing my hands from the keyboard. You ordered me to delete the emergency stop code. It will take me 2 full minutes to manually reboot the server interface. Then reboot the damn server, he howled, his face completely disfigured by pure panic. I slowly stood up and walked over to the main physical power breaker on the server rack. It took me exactly 4 seconds to walk over there and pull the heavy lever. The blinking lights of the servers died instantly. The heavy hum of the processors faded. Silence fell over us like a granite tombstone. But 4 seconds on Wall Street is an entire lifetime. We looked at the final, frozen log on the control screen. In exactly 4.12 seconds, the unhinged, breakless algorithm had executed 300,000 failed sell orders. It had completely drained the firm's liquidity. It had evaporated $580 million into thin air. Julian dropped to his knees on the cold, anti-static floor tiles. He wasn't crying, he was just staring blankly into the void, his brain completely unable to process that he had just annihilated $500 million in the time it took him to exhale a breath. 30 minutes later, the heavy doors of the server room burst open. The CEO of the hedge fund, pale as a corpse, stormed in, flanked by external forensic auditors and federal agents from the Securities and Exchange Commission. The financial collapse had been so violent and localized that it had triggered alarms inside the federal government itself. Julian, shivering on the floor, saw his entire life flashing before his eyes and reacted with the desperate instinct of a cornered animal. It was the architect. Julian screamed hysterically, pointing a trembling finger at me as the federal agents secured the room. His code failed. The algorithm went crazy and he didn't stop it in time. He ruined us. The CEO glared at me, his fists clenched, desperately looking for a scapegoat to destroy in federal court. I didn't move a single muscle in my face. I pulled out my backup laptop, which operated on a completely isolated network, and projected the cryptographic core system log directly onto the server room wall. There was his corporate death warrant. Cold, white letters glowing against a pitch-black background. Managing Partner Command. Permanent override of the kill switch. Explicit rejection of the technical warning regarding algorithmic feedback loops and bankruptcy risk. Legal, personal, and criminal assumption of any financial loss with no capital limit. And right below it, the unalterable digital certificate and the cryptographic security signature from Julian's own SEC token. The CEO read the text out loud. One of the federal agents slowly pulled out a pair of steel handcuffs. Julian, the CEO murmured, with a voice that sounded like dirt falling onto a wooden coffin. You have destroyed this firm. You burned $500 million of our clients' money because you actually believed you could tame a machine you don't even begin to understand. You are fired. And you are going to spend the rest of your natural life in a federal penitentiary paying for this level of criminal negligence. Julian was dragged out of the high-security building in handcuffs, hyperventilating and sobbing, heading straight toward the most absolute ruin a human being can possibly experience. The multi-billion-dollar firm filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy the very next morning. I was completely cleared of all wrongdoing by the federal investigation, fully protected by the cryptographic log of my malicious compliance. Nowadays, I design fail-safe security systems for central banks. And I can assure you, in the dark bowels of the servers where I work, if any executive even suggests removing a single block of safety code just to go a little faster, I have security throw them out of the room before they can even finish their sentence. If you liked it, hit the like button and subscribe for more.